Pour yourself a cold one and join us for an hour filled to the brim with fun.
It hurts in my ears right now.
Entertainment.
Cheeky, bang, bang.
Information.
I need some water and a washcloth.
And a little weirdness.
Can I be a duck? Yeah, I don't think they want me to be a duck.
It's Happy Hour with DJ Kyle.
Welcome to the Happy Hour Show. I'm your host, DJ Kyle, saying thanks to our sponsors, Ozark Barge and Dock, our veterinary, Sir Dyke Yamaha, our year-round fun, Ozarks Amphitheater, our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour, and American Elm Company. We have a busy show lined up. We're going to sit down and talk with Mary Kay from the Ozarks Amphitheater. Jim Paisley tells us about our Civil War in the state of Missouri. We have our furry friends, a cross-eyed dog named Nellie Mae on the show, and of course, Kevin Hilly's Talk of the Town. All of that right here on Happy Hour.
The Avett Brothers, live in concert. Friday, June 16th, Ozarks Amphitheater. With special guest, Government Mule. The Avett Brothers, on sale now at ozarksamp.com and Bridal Cave. Don't miss The Avett Brothers, live, produced by Mammoth.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family, and at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Welcome back to Happy Hour. I'm super excited because right now we have from the Ozarks Amphitheater, our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour, we have Mary Kay on the show. Mary Kay, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Always a pleasure.
Now, we know that there's a lot going on this summer at the Ozarks Amphitheater. Mm-hmm. So many different acts. You even have some new ones to be announcing soon. But we've also seen a lot of tough times recently in the last couple of weeks, right?
April was not a fun month.
Yeah, right. But we're getting through that now.
April's over. We're into May.
Exactly.
8 days until the show.
Oh, that's
first.
Very exciting. Mm-hmm. Very exciting. But we want to pay a little tribute to a very, very special friend that we have had at the Ozarks Amphitheater. You probably, if you've been to the Ozarks Amphitheater, you might have seen a couple little fluffy fur friends running around. And Jax was your Pomeranian, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tell us about how you got Jax.
Well, actually, Tom and I adopted him off of the Pomeranian rescue site. And he was living in Osage Beach at the time. And so we adopted him, and he very quickly established himself as the alpha of our little family.
Yeah.
The alpha of the Ozarks Amphitheater.
Yeah, I was going to say, not just the family, because this is like, he kind of just became the mascot, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like
yes.
one of 2 of the mascots of the Ozarks Amphitheater.
Dutch
right?
is more, and we've had Dutch longer, but Dutch quickly became just Jax's sidekick.
Yep.
And I think Dutch desperately misses having somebody to boss him around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we lost Jax just recently,
mm-hmm.
and so how is Dutch, your other pup, taking it right now?
Well, we are. in the hunt for a new sidekick or a new boss of Dutch.
Yeah,
I guess we
yeah.
might as well just be honest. So we may have a new addition to our family by the weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's very sweet.
Yes.
But as far as Jack's, like, just honestly stepped into the role of being the mascot and being the lover of so many artists that have come through as well.
You know, and he did play an integral role backstage. He had this uncanny knack of meeting people in catering. That was his favorite room in the entire backstage, right? And he would go chair to chair and sit and look at people. And if they didn't notice him or didn't respond to him in what he felt was warranted, he'd get up, go to the next person, sit and look at him. And I mean, you could just watch him work that room again and again and again. And then, you know, after breakfast, he'd have to come up to my office because he's an old little dude. And then he would have to, as we affectionately called it, sleep off his bacon coma. And then he'd be up and ready to go for lunch. And then there was his next, I mean, he spent to the point where there were a lot of managers that would call and go, hey, can the dogs come and hang out with us backstage? Do you mind if they hang with us?
Cool.
And I always would tell them, you know, yeah, that's fine. If they're done with you, they'll find an open door. If you're done with them, just show them an open door and they'll make their way back up to my office.
So this dog has seen more artists than I've probably ever had a chance to rub elbows with, but like been on their tour bus, on their laps, getting pet. And laying on the floor, right? There was a couple artists that maybe...
we're just down laying on the floor with them. There was a couple, one of our hostesses backstage took a picture of one of the band members actually laying on the floor, taking a nap, and just had his arm out, just rubbing Dutch. I mean, it was just... And that's one of the things about it, too. You've got to understand kind of, you know, when these people are on tour, a lot of times they have to leave their pet at home.
Yeah.
And they do have a connection with, and they really do act as a therapy dog.
That's
because
right.
I always try to explain to people that it's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is to be on tour. Picture being in a tour bus for weeks, sometimes months, with everybody in your office. And you may not like everybody in your office, right? Or you find out that they have weird and unusual quirks that you may not be too keen on. So by the time they get to the amphitheater, they just need to just get away from each other for a bit. And sometimes, you know, having Dutch and Jax there is a calming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been times where I've kidded Tom that they were going to get their fur pet off.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be bald by the time the day's over.
Well, Jax will for sure be missed. I had a great opportunity to do some filming at the Ozarks Amphitheater just a month or so ago with Jax, and showing him all around he was showing me all around the amphitheater, letting me know all the really cool things. And I love it because Jax will still live on, obviously, in all the memories, but this summer we're going to have Jax on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
At
what you
all
can
the
and
shows,
can't
right?
do.
Yep, exactly. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. So you guys have gone through not only the death of an amazing family pet, or Ozarks Amphitheater pet, but a fire that destroyed a concession stand in the office. So you're removing things and having to rebuy things and getting things ready. But the good thing is there is a bright sunshine up ahead because we have some great shows coming up. Why don't you tell us about all of the great things that are going to be happening here very soon at the Ozarks Amphitheater?
Well, our first show is in 8 days. It's going to be Breaking Benjamin. And, you know, we're really excited to have them back. I was on the phone just this morning with the tour manager. And, you know, what is very rewarding for us is before bands leave, and this for me is a benchmark. If I don't get this, I feel like I haven't done my job. But having the band ask to come back before they leave is huge. And then getting to talk to the manager, and then he is like, we are so excited to come back, is great. I mean, we build that great family atmosphere backstage. We take care of them. Catering's fantastic. I mean, the desserts that Wicked Sugar makes, she goes to the extremes. She researches band members to find out, like the lead, to find out what their favorite dessert is.
Of course.
She goes to that level and then does album covers on cakes and stuff. It's so fun watching them take pictures of stuff and then debating, should we cut it? Should we not cut it? Can we take it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
too good to cut.
Yeah,
like, it looks so pretty.
Yeah. So being able to facilitate that kind of stuff, and then being able to let the artists go down and kind of explore the Lake of the Ozarks. We take them to Bridal Cave. We've taken them to Big Surf. I mean, just to get an opportunity to see where they're at instead of just being on a tour bus or being backstage. I mean, you know, let's get them out and show them the beauty that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, Mary Kay. And I love what you do with the artist. And not only that, but what you're doing for Lake of the Ozarks and for the locals. We get to go right in our backyard and watch an amazing show time after time again. Again, Thursday, May 11th is Breaking Benjamin with special guest Bush and Another Day Dawns. And then we also have Friday, June 16th. That's coming up not too far.
Yeah.
That's the Avett Brothers with special guest Government Mule. That's going to be a fantastic show. And of course, a whole lot of shows. Where can they go and find all the information, the list of shows, and where could they get tickets?
Oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
If you have not joined our fan club yet, please do, because then you have the ability to buy pre-sale tickets before they go on sale to the general public. So it's ozarksamp.com. Please remember that website. That is the safest way to buy tickets. You can buy tickets online there, or if you want to save yourself those nasty ticketing fees like everybody would want to, you can either go to Bridal Cave or Split Arrow Boutique or to our newly formed offices at the old Van Hook's Bait and Tackle.
Got to put together office quickly, right?
You know, I've never imagined in my entire career that I would be in an office that have bait tanks.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, that's nice.
One for the resume.
You never know when a
eulogy.
bait tank would be good to have, right?
Well, you know, we've been talking about different options of what we could do with those, so who knows?
I tell you what, whatever you're going to do, I'm sure it's going to be spectacular because everything you guys do there is amazing. Mary Kay, thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, we want to dedicate this show to our good Pomeranian friend, Jax. Thank you for everything that you mean to everyone at the Ozarks Amphitheater, all the staff, all the artists that have come through. Jax, we love you and we're going to miss you. The exclusive attraction of Happy Hour, Ozarks Amphitheater. Make sure you get your tickets today.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. The first show Thursday, May 11th. Mark your calendar. It's Breaking Benjamin with special guest Bush and Another Day Dawns. Going to be an awesome show. Also, don't forget about the premium parking. It guarantees that you get a front row parking spot, so that way you don't miss a second of any of the music. Get those tickets right now. It's ozarksamp.com.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Hi, I'm Kevin Hilly. I know the weather's getting warmer, but on this edition of Kevin Hilly's Talk of the Town, we're getting chilly. How do you feel about beanless chili?
No.
I'm okay without beans. That's not what I prefer, but I'm okay with it.
I think you have to have beans too.
The people like it a lot better.
And you do?
No, I like it, but, you know, people like being around me when I've had the beanless.
I got you.
Yeah.
Would you do beanless chili?
No.
My husband loves beanless chili, and that's what he believes in chili, but I always have beans in my chili.
So what's the got in there if he doesn't have beans?
Just meat. I have no idea. I don't cook.
That's called Sloppy Joe.
That's okay. It's just missing something.
It's missing beans. It's beanless chili.
Beanless chili is, if you go to most chili competitions, beanless chili is how they normally judge chili.
Really?
Beanless, and then they open up a category. It's called the open category.
Okay.
And you can put the vegetables and the beans or anything else that you want in it.
How about beanless chili? You ever had that?
Yes, I have. I like beans in mine.
Which bean makes the best chili, in your opinion?
Red kidneys, cannellonis. You asked one, but I think there's really three of them. Red kidney beans, cannellonis, and black beans. I think that's the great combination.
Well, I like a mixture, not just one. I like, when they say 3-bean chili, I like the 3-bean.
So more the better?
More the better.
More the merrier.
That's right. More the beanier or whatever. I don't know.
I've got black beans in mine.
Is that your favorite?
That is my favorite.
I think it depends on the kind of chili you're making. So a kidney bean is a good bean, though.
What do you think is the best kind of bean for chili?
Oh, probably just your normal red traditional chili bean. I'm no expert. I used to be in the grocery business in another lifetime.
Did you sell beans?
Oh, yeah.
Did you sell chili in a can?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of both.
Kidney bean? It depends. If you're making the white chicken chili, the northern bean is good. If you're just making regular, like a chili bean chili.
Well, I tell you what, if you look at like the Brooks chili beans, they're probably the best bean because they're smaller, they don't pack as much starch, and they give you a lot of flavor, and they absorb a lot of flavor from everything that you put into the chili.
Well, I like the black beans, and I like the red beans, and what's that other bean? I forget the name of the other bean I like.
What's the best side for chili? A lot of sides. People like sides for chili. What's the best side? What do you think?
Well, for me, I don't know. I like to put all this stuff on it, like you got your cheese and your onion and your tomatoes and all that. I don't have a side.
You don't have side. You put all the sides in the chili.
That's right. And a big bowl.
A salad, maybe.
A salad?
Onions. Oh, you mean on the chili or
next to it? So it's your call, Sue. Your call. Go crazy tonight.
Onions, cheese, sour cream. What else? That's about it on the chili.
Do you like sides with chili?
No, not really, unless it's a hot dog, chili dog, something like that. Yeah.
What's the best side for chili?
Crackers.
Cornbread. No, maybe oyster crackers. Oh, I don't know.
I like a lot of cheese and sour cream with my chili, and then crackers, of course.
Crackers?
Crackers.
Yeah, that's it. Peanut butter sandwich.
I have never heard of that one.
That's how I grew up in elementary school. They always served peanut butter sandwiches with
chili.
Mm-hmm.
What, you like sides with your chili?
Crackers and stuff, that type of thing. Yeah.
On a scale of weenie to meanie, 0 to 10.
Okay.
How hot do you like your chili?
0.5. Is that such a number?
It is now.
It has to be really mild.
That's only like a 6.
8.
9.
You ladies live on the wild side.
For hot chili, 0 to 10. 0 to 1.
Really?
Yeah, I like it nice and mild. I'm an old man.
You put like ice cubes in it or something?
No. We don't go that way. No. Not until I lose my teeth.
What?
About a 3 or a 4.
Probably a 5.
Mild. Probably no more than a 5.
Well, how hot do you like your chili?
Like 8.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Probably a 4.
You're a little adventurous.
Yeah, a little. Yeah. I just I like to sleep at night.
Without flames coming out of her mouth, yeah. 0 to 10. What's the hottest chili you like?
I like chili in probably the 5 range.
0. I don't like hot stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5. Not too hot, but a little bite.
See, I had him pegged as a 9 or 10 man. How about that? All right.
I like it, but sometimes it gets a little hot for me. If it wasn't quite so hot, it does taste better to me. Those hotter ones, yeah.
Is Donald. He's 91 and what?
Still having fun.
Hey, that's another edition of Kevin Hilly's Talk of the Town. I can't resist. I'll talk to you on the radio Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 10 on 94.3 Cat Country and 101.9 The Wave from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on another edition of Kevin Hilly's Talk of the Town on Lake TV.
The Avett Brothers, live in concert. Friday, June 16th, Ozarks Amphitheater. With special guest, Government Mule. The Avett Brothers, on sale now at ozarksamp.com and Bridal Cave. Don't miss The Avett Brothers, live, produced by Mammoth.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Welcome back to Happy Hour with your host, DJ Kyle, and we have Professor Jim Paisley. I'm very excited about this because every time you come on the show, you give me so much more information of things that, history lessons that I maybe not really paid attention to in high school. I just have to be honest, but now I'm wanting to soak up all of this information. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I hear we're talking about Civil War.
Yes, we're going to talk about the Civil War, and we're going to talk particularly about the Civil War in Missouri, because, boy, do we have an interesting history when it comes to the Civil War in Missouri. And, when I taught a Civil War class in college, the students always seemed to want to know more about what happened in Missouri. I mean, we talked about all the major battles and everything back east, but, I thought, I ought to add a lot of that. And so what you're going to get is part of what I had taught in my Civil War course about Missouri history. And so we'll dive right in here. In April of 1861, the first shot of the Civil War takes place. And it happened, the Confederates fired on a Union fort at Charleston, South Carolina. And that was the first shot. Okay, and so here at Fort Sumter, they're on this little island. I don't know if you've ever been there to see it, but it's fascinating. They actually built the island and then built the fort on it. Well, the thing is it's right at the bay coming into Charleston, and so the Confederates put cannons at different points around that bay, and they started bombing the living daylights out of this thing. Now, what's interesting is they bombed it for 2 days, and there wasn't a single casualty on either side. On either side.
How? Because you can't go anywhere. You're on an island.
Yeah,
how does this even happen?
It literally leveled the place, but it was still standing when the smoke cleared. The only casualty was there was, at the end of the thing, when the Confederates went out and raised the flag, the Confederate flag, they did the typical salute, and they pulled the guns out and shot one of their own guys off the parapet wall.
No way.
Serious.
No way. Wow.
Yeah, there's a great way to go down in history, right?
Exactly right.
Now, the interesting thing about this war was the fact that a higher percentage of our population was lost in the Civil War than in any war we've ever been in. Any of them. I'm talking World War I, World War II, and the reason why is you got to think about it. In a Civil War, whoever dies on either side was an American. And so the percentage was huge, okay? Now, what happens is President Abraham Lincoln comes to power, and as soon as he does, we've had these first shots fired, and he calls for troops. He asked for 30,000 troops, okay, to come help support the Union. And this went out to all the governors. Well, here in Missouri, where we'd only been a state since 1821, here in Missouri, this note comes from the president to our governor, Governor Claiborne Fox Jackson. And basically, he kind of surprised everybody, because here's his response. I'll just read it to you. He said, "Mr. President, your request is illegal, unconstitutional, revolutionary, inhuman, diabolical, and cannot be complied with." He said, "Not a man will the state of Missouri furnish to carry out such an unholy crusade."
Wow.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Today. Yeah, so
that's
he pretty well laid it out there.
Uh-huh.
So today I want to kind of share the story of Missouri and where we went from there, okay? And like I say, there's all kinds of crazy stories, and we'll start with one that just blows my mind. This governor, his name was Claiborne Fox Jackson.
Which is a cool name, by the way.
It's a cool name,
have to say.
yeah. And he ran a little mercantile business up in Fayette, Missouri. And he eventually made it to the House of Representatives and eventually became governor. But when he's governor, he had married the daughter of one of the prominent doctors there in Fayette. And the guy's name was Dr. John Sappington. Well, he married the daughter, and they're living there in Jeff City. And about a year into it, unfortunately, his wife caught the fever and she died. And so what did he do? He started dating her sister. And dated her sister, and eventually married her.
Okay.
And 2 years later, she caught the fever and died. And do you know what he did? He went back to Fayette. There were only 3 sisters.
Oh, no.
Married the third one.
Really?
Yes, he did.
Well,
married the
keep
third
it in
one.
the family,
That's right.
I guess.
And when he married the third sister, Doc Sappington told him, he said, "Don't come back, you can't have the wife."
Good advice there.
Yeah, so he was quite the character in his own right, to say the least, all right? Now, Jackson, like I say, was elected governor the same year that we elected President Lincoln, all right? And I thought it was kind of interesting in that what happened here is that in this presidential election that took place in 1860, Abraham Lincoln runs on a platform that he's totally against slavery, okay? No surprise there. There was a fellow by the name of John Bell who wanted to preserve the Union at all costs. He said, "We just need to do whatever we can to get everybody back together." There was a third fellow by the name of John Breckinridge. He's dyed-in-the-wool Southerner, and he's all for slavery. He's pro-slavery. Then there's this one kind of oddball fellow. This guy comes on the scene, and his name was Stephen Douglas, and he comes up with a radical idea. His idea was, why don't you let the people decide? Isn't that crazy?
Oh, hey.
Yeah. He said, let's let the people decide, and he called it popular sovereignty. Well, sure enough, here they run the presidential election, and you basically what you've done is you've got Lincoln running as a solid anti-slavery individual. The other 3 are kind of wherever.
Yeah.
So what they did is they split the vote amongst those 3, which basically handed it to Lincoln.
Yeah.
All right? And what was interesting about that is Lincoln wasn't even on the ballot in the South.
Really?
And he still won. That's
Wow.
how bad it was split. So when you talk today about, well, maybe we ought to have a third candidate, that doesn't always work out real well, right? Now, like I say, in Missouri, Stephen Douglas, or well, let me back up here. In Missouri, of all things, Stephen Douglas won. He was first, all right?
Okay.
And then behind him came John Bell, who was the idea of just save the Union at all costs. The next guy was Breckinridge, who was pro-slavery, and dead last in Missouri, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah.
Huh.
Now,
so tables turned here.
Yes,
in
exactly.
Missouri. Interesting.
Now, what was interesting is, Missourians basically said, let us decide. All right? Well, as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell where Missouri stood on everything. So we elected this governor, and the governor, Jackson, had told everybody, if you elect me, we're going to stay in the Union, I promise. All right? And so everybody well, all right, so we elected this guy thinking he's going to keep us in the Union. But sure enough, he goes to give his inaugural address there in Jeff City on the steps of the Capitol. And the first thing he says when he steps out there, he said, "We owe it to our Southern brethren to stay or to join up with the Confederacy."
Oh.
Yeah.
So changed it up.
A politician.
A politician would
lied.
change.
That lied. Can you imagine?
Not sure if I believe that.
Well, yeah, I know. Now, sure
But that's
enough,
a very blatant, like, you know, you vote for me and this is what you get, and now you're getting something completely opposite.
Exactly. So here we are with Claiborne Fox Jackson, who has now come out as like a closet Southerner, all right? Now, he realizes that if he's going to hold the state, then he's got to have some kind of militia and he's got to have some weapons or whatever, because the Union's not going to sit idly by and let Missouri fall into the hands of the South.
Yeah.
And the only problem was there was just a small arsenal there on the grounds of the state capitol. It was a little bitty building, and they had guns in there from the War of 1812 and stuff. You know, wasn't very good. But in St. Louis, there's a huge federal arsenal with literally a million rounds of ammo and equipment and cannons, the whole 9 yards. And he says, we need to go capture that. So he calls all the local folks around here to come to the Capitol and you know, bring whatever guns they had, because he's going to form a militia.
Wow.
And 11,000 Missouri boys here in central Missouri all came to the Capitol. Now at the time, Jeff City had 3,000 people. And 11,000 guys show up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That
Absolutely
really,
crazy.
that's spectacular. I don't know if I knew this part of the Civil War. So this is very interesting. So now what's next?
So now, here he is. He says, all right, what we need to do is we need to put together this militia and we need to go down and capture that arsenal, all right? Well, that's easier said than done, all right? Because St. Louis was a Union stronghold, all right? So Governor Jackson, he's not much of a military commander. He ran a general store, right?
Yeah.
So what he did is he called on a former governor, a guy by the name of Sterling Price, and he was from the military, he'd been to West Point and all, and he appoints him in charge of the Missouri State Militia, these 11,000 guys. Well, the problem they had, there were only about 800 of them had guns.
Yeah.
So they put together this little ragtag militia, and they're going to go to St. Louis, and they're going to raid the arsenal and get all the guns out of it. Now, the arsenal sat like where Lambert Field is now, right up in north part of St. Louis. So here the 800 militia go down there. It's in May of 1861, and they're camped out. They're at, you know, just not too far from where the arsenal is, so they can attack it the next day. Well, word came out that, sure enough, the militia is there.
Ah.
So what happens is there in St. Louis, you had a very wealthy, powerful politician, a fellow by the name of Frank Blair, and he's definitely pro-Union. And along with him, there's the head of the local militia, Union militia, that's, you know, in the regular Union Army, and his name was Captain Nathaniel Lyon. So Lyon and Blair are the Union guys.
Okay.
Now we've got Sterling Price coming with all the local boys, the militia.
Uh-huh.
Well, sure enough, Nathaniel Lyon, he had about 1,500 troops. He goes out there to where these guys are camped out, surrounds them, and captures them all. And he's marching them back to the south side of St. Louis, where they're going to put them in an old abandoned hospital called Gratiot Street. Well, as they're marching them through the streets, the people of Missouri and in St. Louis are watching this, and they're saying, wait a minute, what's going on? You've got Union troops forcing Missouri boys at bayonet through the streets of St. Louis. Well, as you know, Missourians, we're like not too happy about that, and we're mad, and so people in the crowd start throwing rocks at these soldiers, okay? And they're pelting these guys with rocks, and eventually Nathaniel Lyon turns to his troops and said, fire. And they opened fire, and they fired into the crowd. Now, this is just citizens along this route.
Yeah.
Anyhow, when the smoke clears, there were 15 St. Louis citizens that were gunned down by the Union troops, and this included women and children.
Wow.
It was called the St. Louis Massacre. You can look it up. And so now you can see, wait a minute, you know, here we voted to stay in the Union. We voted for this governor that would keep us in the Union, but now all of a sudden the Union's here shooting people.
Yeah.
And so the people are at a loss. They're just reading this stuff in the newspapers about what's happening, and they're thinking,
they don't know what to think at this
where do we
point.
stand,
Yeah.
right? So now what happens is about a week goes by, and you know they've captured our militia. It's down there in that prison, and Governor Jackson and Sterling Price get together, Price came back and reported what had happened. And they said, we need to go down and meet with this captain and this Frank Blair, this politician. And so they go down there and they met with him at a place called Planter's House. It was a hotel. And they go down to the Planter's House and they meet, and they're saying, look, the governor says, I said I'd keep us in the Union, but I want you people out of here. I don't want Union troops in my state. Well, with that, what happens is Blair says, that isn't how it works. We're the federal government. We're going to tell you how this works.
Yeah.
And Captain Lyon, he now stated, if I have to kill every man, woman, and child in the state of Missouri to keep you in the Union, I will do so. And he turned to his second in command and he said, escort these people off my lines.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some bold
yeah, that's a mighty bold talk,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Well, what happens is, with that, Governor Jackson and Sterling Price, they hop on a train to come back to Jeff City. Now, I find this fascinating. The governor and Sterling Price, as they're coming back, they know that the Union troops are going to be coming, and everything moves by rail back then. They stopped at the Gasconade River and at the Osage River, and after they crossed each one of them, they blew up the bridges.
Really?
Yes. Blew up the bridges to keep them from coming,
Yeah.
Would our governor do that today? I don't know. Right? So here they are. They come back to Jeff City. Jeff City's in a panic. They don't know what they're doing. The legislature has long since left. They're like, I don't want to be around when this happens. Anyhow, they come back to town, and they went to the state treasury and cleared all the money out, okay? And they packed everything up, and they headed to Booneville, Missouri, because it was a strong Southern sympathizer. Okay?
Yeah.
So they head up to Booneville. Now, the next day, here comes Captain Lyon and 1,700 troops, and they're on board a steamboat. That's the only way they could get there, because they heard the railroad bridges
all the bridges.
And so when they get there, they come up and they make landfall. They're right by the Capitol, and they're on a steamboat called the Iatan. Now, what's interesting about that is the fact that the city of Jefferson today, Jefferson City, their city seal, if you look at it, it's a big J, and in the opening right there to the side is this steamboat.
Steamboat, yeah.
And it's the Iatan. It says right on the side of it.
Very cool.
So what the city symbol symbolizes the Union landing in Jefferson City during the Civil War.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
That's very neat.
Yeah, so then what happens is, Lyon finds out they got out of here with all the state treasury. They bailed out and went to Booneville. So he loads the boys back up on the steamboat. And by the way, while he was there, he rounded up everybody who was pro-Confederate and put them in a prison in the basement of the Capitol building.
Of course, yeah.
But then he heads out to Booneville. And when he gets to Booneville, like I say, he's got 1,700 guys, and they're all decked out with the latest equipment. Bear in mind, this is still a bunch of Missouri boys. And they don't have hardly any, they didn't get any weapons or anything. They don't have hardly, they got shotguns or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the Battle of Booneville takes place. Now, the Battle of Booneville really wasn't much of a battle. It was, the Southerners are standing on a hillside, watch this boat come up, and all these guys pouring out of it like ants, and they're like, uh-oh. And it turns into a running gunfight. Basically, the Union just flushes them out. Well, the governor happens to be in his tent when the Union troops land. And the scouts come running up and say, Governor, we gotta go, they're right here. And he's like, what? He said, they're right here, they're at the end of the street. He said, we need to run. Well, the governor had all of that money he took out of the treasury. It's gold bullion. All right. Supposedly, the way the story goes, never been able to prove it, he took the money and he stuffed it in a cannon barrel, a small cannon barrel, and he buried it right there in the tent. And him and two other guys buried it. Now, a lot of people think, you've been to Booneville, it's up on that rock bluff. Where the camp was for the governor was actually over in the bottoms there, in that sand. So it was easy to dig, and they buried the cannon barrel with all the gold. Then they hightailed it out of there. Well, interestingly enough, Governor Jackson, Claiborne Fox Jackson, he was killed down in Mexico while the war was going on. The two guys were with him, they both died in the war. So nobody knows where the cannon barrel is.
Wow.
And supposedly, as the story goes...
So we're going to take a trip?
Field trip? Digging? Yes, but I think they dug up almost every inch of Booneville looking for it. And you guys have all seen what floods do. That cannon barrel could be in New Orleans, if the story's even true. But if any of you find that, he and I get a cut because we told you about
Yeah.
it. Sound fair?
I think that's very fair.
What, 60-40? I think
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, good. All right, so basically what happens is Sterling Price and the governor, they got to fly out of there, and they start hightailing it south. They figure, we got to get down to Confederate lines. So they fled all the way to Springfield, Missouri. And in Springfield, Missouri is where the famous Battle of Wilson's Creek took place, all right?
Yep.
And it's a great site. If you're down in Springfield sometime, go out there. It's a national site, a battlefield site. And it was one of the first major battles in the Civil War. Well, what happens is as Sterling Price and the boys are heading south, they're recruiting. Now, they've only got, just 800 guys.
Yeah.
But by the time they get down to Springfield, all the recruits are coming in. They have 5,200 men. Then they get there and they meet up with the Confederate forces who had another 2,700.
So they're just snowballing.
And then there was another brigadier general who eventually came up out of like Oklahoma, and he had another 2,200 men. So there's a force of about 10,000 Confederate troops
that are heading to battle.
And Nathaniel Lyon is chasing them with 1,500, thinking, I'm going to go down and whoop these boys.
Yeah.
Oh, big mistake. So he makes plans to go and attack this camp where these guys are. Well, they even wrapped blankets around the wagon wheel so they could sneak in the early morning. And they sneak in and surprised about 10,000 guys. And they were surprised.
I was going to say, I feel like they were more surprised than the 10,000 guys.
So what happened is on the trip down there, Captain Nathaniel Lyon, the Union captain in charge, they had heard that, he'd won the Battle of Booneville, and they sent a telegraph on one of the stops that he was there, and they promoted him to general. So he became General Nathaniel Lyon. So he's kind of got a big head when he's going to Wilson's Creek. I'm a general now.
He's a big boy now.
Yes. Well, as it turned out, he's leading the troops into the battle at Wilson's Creek, and he wound up being shot and killed.
Oh.
He became the first general in the Civil War to die.
Really?
First one for either side.
And right there in Springfield.
And it happened right there in Springfield. Again, Missouri history. You sit there and you look at it and you think, what? How can this be, right? Now, what was interesting is the battle was kind of a wash. There were 1,300 Union troops killed. There were 1,200 of the Confederate troops, the Missouri State Guard. Well, realizing there's no way they're going to be able to go back up and capture the capital, the Southerners then headed south and joined up with the Confederate forces. Okay?
Gotcha.
So that's the story of that group. Now, October 30th of 1861, the Missourians decided, well, now what are we going to do? And so they went to Neosho, Missouri, of all places, way down there in the southwest corner. And they turned around and met with the members of the state legislature that they could pull together.
Yeah.
And there was, a lot of people say it wasn't a quorum, but there were quite a few of them there. And there they voted to secede from the Union. So Missouri did indeed secede from the Union, okay? And so Jackson is now, the governor of a Confederate state. Now, what happened from there is they headed south from Neosho, and they went all the way down to Marshall, Texas. And at Marshall, Texas, they set up a capital. So if you ever go to Marshall, Texas, during the Civil War, that was the capital of Missouri.
Wow. Now, that is very interesting. I did not know any of this.
Yeah.
And that's in Marshall, Texas?
Marshall, Texas. You bet. Yeah. So basically, there you have it. There's a little Civil War history for you about Missouri.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I'm always blown away every time that you come on to the show. Now, you also have a book here that I would like to talk about just a little bit. Now, is this about the Civil War?
Yes, it is. If you're interested in more history of the Civil War in Missouri, this is a book I wrote. It's called Matt. It's actually the nickname of a great-great-aunt I had, Martha Estelle Logan. She traveled west by wagon train on the Oregon Trail, and I had her diary, and I use it for the basis of the book because in the book she's dating one of the guys that's riding with Quantrell and the boys.
Oh, wow.
And so you're going to get a lot of information about the Oregon Trail and a ton of information about what it was like to live in Missouri during the Civil War with this conflict going on.
Well,
and it's available on Amazon for anybody that's interested.
Very good.
Matt by James Michael Paisley.
Absolutely. Check that out on Amazon. You could just type in James Michael Paisley or Matt, look for that book and get that on Amazon today. Thank you again for coming in, and thank you for the knowledge of the Civil War in Missouri. We have more with Happy Hour coming up after this.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. The first show Thursday, May 11th. Mark your calendar. It's Breaking Benjamin with special guest Bush and Another Day Dawns. Going to be an awesome show. Also, don't forget about the premium parking. It guarantees that you get a front row parking spot, so that way you don't miss a second of any of the music. Get those tickets right now. It's ozarksamp.com.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it. Welcome to another edition of Furry Friends presented by our veterinary here on Lake TV. I'm Megan Albers with Mary Meow Me Tilly, and today we have a super fun and a dog that has a face that a mother could love.
Definitely.
So she's a little lopsided. Her eyes are a little crossed, but she's fantastic.
But it all works on her.
Yes.
She's adorable.
She is super cute.
So today we have Nellie Mae.
Okay.
She is a boxer mix, and you wouldn't know it you wouldn't guess it from seeing how active she is. Our vet has estimated her age to be 7 years.
Wow, that's so surprising because she is so active.
When I posted her online and everything, I said, please don't overlook me because of my age. I still have a lot of activity and a lot of fun years left in me. Hopefully, nothing's set in stone, nothing that we can predict, but she appears to be healthy and she's active. I had somebody who had inquired about her who wanted to know how she was with kids. So when I get that question, if we haven't already, Brandy will bring her kids up at the end of the day and put them out in the yard with the dog to see how things go.
Perfect.
And I've got video of it. She had a blast. The young kids, toddler age, young grade school age, they were laughing. She'd run up to them, they'd fall down. She was in their face, licking on them and everything. It was just so much fun. She was having a blast. They were having a blast.
That's awesome.
We think she's good with dogs. We haven't had her with a whole lot of dogs yet, but we're in the process of working on that so we can be able to tell. We're going to start her out with some puppies this week, I believe, and see how she does. But other than that, like I said, she's cross-eyed. Her ears are a little offset, but she's just absolutely adorable.
So cute, and she's so much fun. Like she's super gentle. I mean, she's a little jumpy, but like she'll jump up on you, but it's not super rough, and she's super playful. And I am so surprised that she's 7.
Right.
She does. She has so much energy.
And that's there's no way of us knowing for certain.
Yeah.
That is a guess based on I think we put her in originally around 5 or so when she came in, and then when the vet looked at her, she upped it a little bit, based on her teeth and her just looking at the different things that the vet looks at. Some we age them initially, and then the vet kind of confirms or says, no, I think it's this. So we've got her in at 7 years old now. Yeah. But she's a ball of energy, and you wouldn't guess her age by the way she acts. For
not
certain.
even a little. If you want to meet Nellie Mae, come hang out with her. throw a ball around with her, play a little tug with the rope, you can do so by stopping by the shelter. And of course, you can apply to adopt her at ozarkscatandcanine.com. Now, you guys have a fundraiser coming up, correct?
Yes, we do. So at the end of June, June 30th, we've talked about it before, but just wanting to update it, wanting to make sure it gets out there. And for anybody who hasn't seen those segments before, we are doing Cause for Paws 2023, hoping to make it an annual event.
Yes.
It will be held on June 30th at the Encore in Lake Ozark from 5 to 8 p.m. There's going to be a silent auction. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres and live music by the dueling pianos. We're going to have door prizes throughout the hour, probably multiples each hour if we get enough donations in and everything. The donations are starting to roll in, and we're getting some really good stuff. So far, I know we've got a laptop.
Oh, wow.
Harley Davidson has donated a backpack cooler.
Oh.
Celebration Cruises has donated a pair of tickets for a boat ride.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've got some other boat rides, some cleaning services. Somebody brought in a really nice cat tree the other day for that. So, we're getting a lot of gift baskets, different, like Scentsy and things like that, and some gift certificates and stuff rolling in.
Good.
We're still looking for donations, so if anybody has anything that they would like to donate to the cause, they can call here at the shelter. And if I need to, I'll pass them on to a board member, or they can just drop it off with me, and we'll take care of it. And anybody who donates throughout the month of June, in preparation, leading up to this event, we'll be doing shout outs on all our social media,
awesome.
thanking everybody for the donations and tagging them if we can, and letting people know that these people have helped us out.
Yeah.
Wristbands are available for $20 here at the shelter building, at the thrift store, and also at Encore. They can call Encore. There's a number on our website for them to call Encore and find out how to get one on the other side of the lake without having to drive over here.
Oh, good.
Cash only. And they do not actually need a wristband to get into the event because it is going to be in a public area of the property. But the wristbands are going to get them entries for the prize drawings and access to the hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, there you go. So you need a wristband.
And plus, help us fund the event. And part of the wristband sales are going to go to Encore for the food, and part of it comes to us as donation, to help fund the event. And then the silent auction, hopefully we'll raise a lot of money for the animals.
Yeah.
And we really want this to be a big deal, and hopefully it goes over well, and we'll be repeating it again next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too.
And then also on the night of the event, if somebody who has purchased a wristband, so they already have one entry into the door prizes, if they bring us a bag of dog or cat food, 10 pounds or bigger, then they will get a second entry for the door prizes.
Nice.
And depending on how many things that we have, we're looking at probably multiple drawings per hour during the time of the event.
That's amazing. It sounds like it's going to be great.
I think so.
I'm excited
That's what
for
we're
you guys.
hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So again, if you have something you'd like to donate, call the shelter, drop it by. In some cases, just call first. And then you can get all the details on that fundraiser at ozarkscatandcanine.com. And I'm assuming your Facebook as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There you go, social media. And you want to follow them anyways, just because, you get to see cute dogs and cats all the time.
Yep,
so
dogs and cats.
That's a win.
You get to see all of our adoptions and see the happy people taking their animals home. So we talk about different events. We talk about a lot of times I will post things like tips on animals. Like right now we're in the middle of Poison Prevention Month. So, sometimes I have things on, things to help keep your animals safe.
Yeah.
different things like that.
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes fun cartoons.
Definitely follow.
Just whatever.
Yes.
Just whatever
Memes,
pops up.
It's good fun.
Yep.
I personally, I love seeing all the adoptions. Always makes me happy seeing those dogs and cats go home to their
because that's what
forever
we're here
homes.
for ultimately. You know,
Yep.
is getting those animals in the homes, and everybody likes to see the adoptions because then they know that you know the volunteering time, the money they're donating, and everything. They know they can see what we're using it for, and that it works.
Yep. Yep. And of course, we cannot forget about Nellie Mae. She is adorable, so much energy, and she definitely needs a good home. So again, go to ozarkscatandcanine.com and apply to adopt her. She's off camera hoarding all of the toys right now. She's so fun. That does it for another edition of Furry Friends presented by our veterinary on Lake TV. Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. The first show Thursday, May 11th. Mark your calendar. It's Breaking Benjamin with special guest Bush and Another Day Dawn's. Going to be an awesome show. Also, don't forget about the premium parking. It guarantees that you get a front row parking spot, so that way you don't miss a second of any of the music. Get those tickets right now. It's ozarksamp.com.
Hey, it's Uncle Chris. You got to join us for a cup of coffee this week. Look who's back. It's Wild Will, baby.
Back from sunny Florida, just in time to talk with Brandon Hill from Harley-Davidson about their upcoming Ozark Rides Rally.
He's my new man crush. And local schools are amping up safety and security.
Love it. And also a great hometown heroes this week.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on at the lake, including a huge fishing tournament. Be sure to join us for a cup of coffee. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals parades, Aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV.
Thank you again for joining us on Happy Hour. Also, thanks to our sponsors that make it all possible. Ozark Barge and Dock, our veterinary, Surdike Yamaha, Ozarks Amphitheater, our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Join us next week. We have another fantastic show all lined up. And I tell you what, it's a great day to have a great day. So go have yourself a great day.